All right, so we are back, and so we are going to pick up where we left off. So we're talking about coordinate pairs, and it is where these x axis and the y axis intersect. And so I'm going to come back to this point A that I drew originally. So what if I wanted the name or the exact coordinate of this dot right here? So the way I want you to think about this is in an elevator, because that's what we always get confused on, is what comes first. So when you first walk up to an elevator, you have to walk in the elevator before you can go up, right? You can't just like stand on the floor here and go up, or you can't just stand on the floor here and go down. You always have to walk into the elevator first. And so that, when we're naming our coordinate pair, is the number that we name first, the x number. And so if I look here, I go across my line, and this point is at 1 and 1/2. Now I look at the y-axis. So here I got in my elevator, but I don't go up. I don't go down. I stay the same. And so this line that I am staying on, if you look at 1, yeah, 1/2, 0, then that my y is 0. And plus, if you think about it in terms of the alphabet, it always goes X, Y, and then Z. So that's the number in which you name them, is in X, Y order. So let's take a look at another example. So let's say that I wanted to list the coordinate pair of 6, 2. So what would that look like? So how would I put that onto this? This is called a coordinate plane now. Remember, we learned in geometry last time that a plane is any kind of like two-dimensional surface where there are points. And so since we're using points, we can call this a coordinate plane. And so what if I had the coordinates 6 and 2? What would I do? Well, first I would get in the elevator. So I get in the elevator at door 6. So here's where I start. This is my origin. And I go all the way over to 6. Oh, okay. Now I get in the elevator and I push the button and I want to go up to the 2nd floor. Now, I can the great thing about coordinate graphing is that usually you're going to have graph paper to do this on. So finding these dots will just be a finger slide. Whoops. And so here is where the 2 and the 6 come together. And where the 2 and the 6 come together, that is my coordinate point. Okay? So the 6th floor, or the 6th door, 2nd floor. All right? So we're going to go ahead, and if you need more practice with that, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the second problem here. And so I'm going to start by labeling my x and y axis. Okay, so here is my coordinate plane. And so which one of these is which line? Okay, so I'm going to remember that in a coordinate pair, x, then y, and then that's going to help me remember that I have to get in the elevator before I go up. Okay, so that's going to help me label my line. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So label, if I were to number number this. I'm going to kind of do what we did last time. And I'm going to skip a line. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to number every other line here. So these are in increments of 1. I can use the half, but usually you're going to see it in increments of 1, 10, and then I'll do the same thing here. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10. Now, on this line, on my x-axis and on my y-axis, they intersect right here. If I were to label both of those with a number, it would be 0. And can you remember what it's called where our graph starts from, our starting point? O, or 0 in this case, stands for origin. Okay, very good. So we started here at the origin and we labeled every other hashtag here, or I'm sorry, hash line with a whole number. All right, so I gotta do some thinking here. Hang on. What if I put a square right here on my graph? Okay, how could I name the location of this square? If this square was out in the middle of the woods and it needed me to drop off supplies somewhere, where would be its location? Where would it tell me to drop off food? I know a square can't tell you to drop off food, nor does it need food, but where would its location be? All right. So it is over 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get in the elevator first. And then I went up to the 3rd floor. So its location is 4, 3. That's what I would call its location. Okay. So what if I put a check mark right here on my graph? What would be the location of this check mark? What would I say? So remember, I go in the elevator and then I go up. So I go in door 1 and I go up to the 5th floor. That is the location of my check mark. What if I do one more shape? What if I put a triangle right here? What would you call its location? What is its name? We'll give you a minute to think about it here. Say it out loud. Where would you put it? All right. I went over 5 and I went up 1. And so that is called the coordinate pair for these shapes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the problem set. You can take a moment and work through the problem set with me if you would like. And then tomorrow when you come in, you will be turning in the homework to me. So thank you for being a part of it. And hopefully the 2 videos haven't been too terribly long, and hopefully this is making sense. Anytime that your teacher has ever given you one of those papers to do, like on, I know that our class has done them on like Christmas and Halloween or Thanksgiving, where it tells you to draw to graph the numbers, and then you connect the dots and you end up with like a turkey or Santa Claus or something. That's exactly what we're practicing now. So these are skills that you've seen before. Maybe you haven't known the exact vocabulary, but these are skills that you have used before. And so now we are going to practice just naming them and using the vocabulary. Over the course of the next couple days, we will do more with it, and maybe we'll even get the opportunity to make some cool pictures. So thanks a lot. You guys have a good night. Come in ready tomorrow to be learners and earn those points. Good night.